peoples of the planet. Welcome everybody. Welcome Mr. Syrian and you lurkers. Welcome everyone. Let me start opening Unity here. Oh boy. What did you guys do this weekend? Tell me. I didn't do much though. I worked in the game. I had some time this weekend to work in the game. And what else did I do? I fixed computers for some clients. But yeah, I think last was Friday. Last Friday we were working on the barrels. I think we are pretty much done with the barrels, right? Besides of some code that I want to refactor on them, the functionality is there, so they are working. Now it's kind of like nitpicking and make more the code more efficient or this and that. And I was really thinking about the inventory that we are having. I am having a lot of issues with it. So I think, because I was trying to do in a lazy way, but the lazy way, sometimes it works and sometimes it's super expensive. Mortal, welcome to the stream, my man. How are you doing, Mortal? Sometimes the easy way, it makes the code work, right? But sometimes the easy way, it's too expensive. And the way that I'm doing, one, is too expensive. Two, I'm having problems when I'm running the editor as a client and as a host, right? So that's causing issues. And what else? So I was seriously thinking. It was good, Mortal, it was good. I was telling the guys, I did some work in the game and I did some work in, I fixed some computers this weekend for some customers, but that's me personally, right? So I want to start doing more of that, so then I can actually quit my job and then go back to work in the game and then kind of like fix computers on my own instead of, you know, working. But yeah, it was good. Besides that, work a little bit in the game, kind of had some ideas. I was literally playing the game, and then 1 second guys, I'm opening the editor here, but since I was, you know, normally when I work in the game I have the editor in this screen and then the text editor, Visual Studio in this screen, and then the Unity editor in the center screen. So let me wait until this load. What? How is that so? Did you guys hear that? I didn't know that I had my sounds on for my computer. Stevens, welcome to the stream. You're my favorite streamer now. Dude, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. Let me make the font here bigger. Welcome to the stream, by the way, man. Nice to see ya. And yeah, I was playing the game and then going through my code and kind of looking at it and kind of like debugging it very, very slowly. Way different than when I debug when I'm streaming. So I was literally looking line by line, debug everything that was happening between the server and the client, and I end up having some ideas. So this is, I know that you guys probably don't know, but this is new code, right? I know that it's very difficult for you guys to notice differences, right, when I'm not working on stream, but I have some different code. It's similar but different, right, in that sense. So yeah, I think, let me see here, I think the barrels are working just fine. Just gonna run one more time here and then we can jump back to the inventory. And you know, guys, this is how it goes. You know, we've been working in this inventory for a long time already. The thing is, you cannot give up on it. If you give up on it, then it doesn't get done, right? So you take a break from it, work a little bit more. If you don't fix it, go back to it, you know, do a little bit more work. Are you hosting your own server for the game? Yeah, Steven, what I'm doing now, I'm literally, this editor here, it works as a host, right? So with Unity, you have a concept of a host. A host would be a machine. I don't know if you know, but if you know, just ignore what I'm saying. But if you don't know, it's kind of like it runs the server and runs the client in the same machine. So right here we have a server and a client, right? Now I'm gonna open another editor. Watch this. Watch me. I'm going to open another editor. And as you guys can see, I was playing around with my artistic, look at that God rays. Dang, that's a lot of God rays, man. I need to lower that a lot. But let me show you here, students. So this editor right here would be running just as the client. And this is one of my issues. So if I log in and click connect, this editor is just the client. Looks sick. I need to lower them though, because it's too much God rays. So see, this one is the client in this, you know, in the game. For now, this is how I'm doing, right? When I release a pre-alpha version of the game, then I will be, at least in the beginning, I will be hosting just a server. It's not going to be host, it's not going to be anything, it's just going to be the server. And then the copy of the game that I'm going to give to you guys, that will be running the client, so everybody will be connecting to the same server, right? So that's what is going to happen in the near future. Let's see if that works. Cooked meat. I just want to double check here, guys, if it's being random, right? Because the last time that we had to fix was that wasn't being random. Cooked meat, triangle foundation. Okay, let's see if we get something different. Yeah, it's possible to do on Linux. Actually, the server for this game would be running on Linux. Triangle foundation. So we have the same problem. It's not... We need to double check this again, because we are getting the triangle foundation in the cooked meat every time. So let's double check, because something that I did introduced the issue again. Cooked meat, triangle foundation. Yeah. So we have the issue again. Yeah. It's possible to host the server on the Linux OS for sure, man. That's what I'm gonna do for the pre-alpha. The server will be running on Linux. You guys will get a build of the game that runs on Windows. So the client running on Windows and the server will be running on Linux. That's the goal. Let me fix those God rays to begin with. Lurkers. Thanks for lurking, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys watching. We fixed that camera. And Mortal already got to be the boss, huh? Dang, son. Sunshaft. I think if we disable sunshafts, let's see. I did some work in the game, so we may be getting some exceptions, right? Not related to what we are working today, but related with something that I was working this weekend. Sometimes I work in stuff that I didn't even show in the stream yet, so I'm working kind of behind the scenes on it. Let's see if those God rays are gone. Okay, we got an exception already. That's fine. I know what that is. And the God rays are gone. Okay, cool. Because that's too much. And there is a color correction here. See that the top of the trees are kind of like a purplish. I was playing around with camera effects and I'm not an artist, so I left the scene completely messed up. Right? Let me see here. We can probably main camera. If we do, let's leave. That's the one that's messing up. Yeah, so the color correction, yeah, for sure. That's the one that was messing up with my colors, my trees. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look again in that barrels. Oh boy, never ending. Barrel resource. I just want to double check if that's the script. Barrel right here. Yeah, so that's the script that we wanna play with. So let's take a look here. Apply damage. This is to this apply the damage to the barrel itself, and when the barrel goes to 0 health, go to definition. When the barrel goes to 0 health, the server spawns it. So update, and then see right here, if the current health is less or equal to 0, right? Because let's say if the barrel has 5 health and you shot at it for 10 health, that would be below 0, right? So we check for that, and already we set that to 0, so it doesn't matter if it went below 0 or if it's 0. If we are at this point here, the health should be 0, right? And we set the timer here. This is something that we could look if we fix the items, that I think we'll be able to. This timer here is a timer that's being used to respawn the barrel again. So you will destroy the barrel, will drop, and then after a certain amount of time, the barrel would respawn. Set that to false, blah blah blah. And then this is the list, this thing right here, this resource, this is the list that the server has it. So the server has a list of all the barrels that are in the game, and as soon as we update this information here, we update that barrel in the server list, and then we say, hey, this barrel now is the barrels are procedurally generated. They are procedurally placed. If that, I think that's what you mean, right? They are procedurally placed. They are just a prefab, and they are procedurally placed in the map. They are always placed in the same position because I am using a seed to do the procedural generation. So if the seed is the same, they're gonna always be placed in the same place. And that's true for trees are procedurally placed, the rocks procedurally placed, barrels so far, and probably if I had other things, probably like trash piles, that type of thing, they probably will be procedurally placed. The only things that are not procedural at this point are campfires, loot boxes, and building blocks, right? Because those are placed by the user, and if I place something somewhere, I wanted that to be there, right? So yeah, so this updates the server, and then we return right here, we return that barrel to the pool, right? Because we don't destroy the barrel. Every time that we create a barrel and we destroy the barrel, we don't actually destroy the game object because that creates garbage, and we don't want to create that garbage. So we have a pool of barrels. The server has like a bunch of barrels. When we need a barrel, I go to that pool and say, hey, give me a barrel, and I put in the game. When that barrel gets destroyed, instead of destroying the game object and recreating, just say, okay, put this back in the pool, and this should be ready to be reused if we need more, right? So that's how it's done. And then we have the item selector interface here. So that's the code that we added last week, right? So the item selector, if we go here, the item selectors are this here. So we have two in here. One selects blueprints, and the second one selects consumables, right? Because in the pre-alpha version, the only way that you're gonna get food and water would be through the barrels, right? We don't have animals yet. We don't have nothing like that. So we don't die. We're gonna be getting those from the barrels just for a matter of testing the game, right? Is that MMO made in Unity? I got your link here, Mortal. MMO, there's a bunch of game, dude, there's a lot of games that have been done in Unity now, and they are super good. That looks good. That looks pretty good, man. That's awesome. That's made on Unity though, right? Because now looks like 1 or 2 years, bigger games and like nicer games are coming out on Unity, and that's really good. Because before, like, I don't remember any game that's like more than 2 years old that was a bigger game per se, right? Like a MMO, or you know, like escaping from Tarkov, right? But this looks pretty nice game. I'm really glad that we are having more. I think still in pre-alpha, yeah. But it's nice that people are doing it, right? Because just not long ago, we just had little 2D games, and yeah, we had 3D games, but not bigger in scope per se. They were simple 3D games, or maybe single player games. Nowadays we are seeing more multiplayer and that type of thing. I don't know what you guys' opinion on it. I want to know. Yeah, well, yeah, the thing with Unity is Unity for sure is recognized, but it's kind of like it has that bad taste in gamers' mouth, right? Because of Steam, and that's something that Unity put on themselves for obligating people to use that splash screen. So any bad game on Steam, you would start playing it, you would see that splash screen made with Unity. It's pretty much saying, Unity, that's everything you can make with it, right? But I guess little by little now, as the good games are coming out made with Unity, people start to say, okay, now, because normally gamers, they don't know. I even heard pretty like dumb things being said by YouTubers that actually are gamers, and I was hearing it and I say, like, that has nothing to do with the engine, dude. What are you talking about? But people don't know, so they say, oh, the engine is bad, that's why the game is bad. But that we are developers, we know that that's not the case. But that's majority, a big part of gamers, they have no idea, right? So it's kind of good, to get to my point, it's kind of good that now we are having this multiplayer and bigger games coming out in Unity, so people can say, okay, so now maybe they're gonna think that the engine got better, right? And it did, right? The engine got better, but there's more people using it, so there's more good programmers using it. And I don't know, you guys tell me if you have a different opinion on it. Got a lot better. 4.6 was a big step. 4.6 was a big step. 5.6, like after 5, they added a bunch of new stuff. I agree completely with you. Droppable? Is droppable with 2Ps or 1P? I don't even know. I don't even know if that word exists. Let me see if droppable is 2Ps. So there we go. There we go. I was writing right, and then I confused myself. Let's just start cleaning it up, this message here. You know why I have the connection ID here for the client? You know why? Do you guys want to know why? Because I was going to if you guys play Destiny, like there's a bunch of functionality in this game that I am getting from Destiny, right? And on Destiny, when you kill a boss, I don't know if you guys noticed, or when you have a loot in the floor, sometimes you see the loot, but the person that's playing with you doesn't see the loot. So the drop was just for you, right? The person probably got a different drop, but the drop that comes from me maybe is going to be a different drop for you. The same thing that goes when you defeat a boss. I get some drops and you get something dropped, and it's always different. So it's kind of like a random for each player. So each player gets something different. And that has to do with the levels, right? So if I'm level 5, I should be getting drops that are for level 5, or maybe like level 6, but not more than level 6, right? Or 3 or 4, wherever. If there's a player that's level 20, the guy should not be getting drops level 5 just because I am level 5. So you have a different loot table, right, based on your level, and that's kind of like it's random for every player. So that's why I had that connection ID, but I think I'm gonna remove it for now, because these drops, this type of drop, it will be for everybody, right? So it's gonna be super difficult to implement that type of thing for well, not super difficult, but to implement that, I would have to have a spatial management for the area where that barrel is. So for instance, if I have a barrel here and I have 10 players around it, right? And a player level 1 breaks the barrel, I would be generating different items for the 10 different players. So I would send that message for the 10 different players saying, okay, you get loot level 10, you get loot level 20, and you get loot level 5, right? But only one box would be spawned, and for me, when I looked at the item that I would get would be level 5. If the level 10 player in their client looked that box to get the loot, they would have a loot that would go to their level. But to do that in this scenario, we would have to have a spatial management system to know which players are around and which type of, and if we should generate the drop for them. But that's gonna come in the future, right? So we are not gonna be implement that right now at this moment, because we are just talking about consumables. At least for this type of drop, it's going to be only consumables and will be blueprints. We don't have levels, we don't have anything like that, so we would have no issues with it. So that's why I had the connection ID, right? So I know the person that is actually breaking the barrel to send a message back to them. But we don't need to do that, so I'm gonna remove it. And connection ID right here. In the future, right? Everything is going to happen in the future. And this should actually be an array of client connections, right? And the spatial management system would have to be passing that. So we need to create some sort of system that before this request is made for this client, I would get the position of the player, the position of the barrel. Kind of like instantiate not instantiate, but run the spatial management and say, okay, I have 10 players in this area. So give me the connection ID of those players. And then we would send a list and say, okay, so generate drops for these players, right? But that, it's for another day. Imagine, dude, imagine 2 or 3 years from now, right? Hopefully, like, I hope that you guys keep like in this journey with me. Because imagine like 3 years from now, I don't even know what I would be working on. Like, I know all the ideas that I have, but I don't know for sure what exactly I'm gonna be working on like 2 or 3 years from now, right? Probably after 2 years, the game probably will be released. But even after I release the game, I intend to keep streaming me working in the game, right? So imagine, that would be super cool. Drop item. Okay. Let's take a look in this handler. On request received. That's not it. Or it is. So I'm gonna rename this on drop item. Let's do that. Drop item. I don't know why I called request receive. That makes no sense. Okay. So I guess that changed. And that's actually being called here. Move that. Let's rename this to drop message. Drop message, or even better, let's do message. Okay. Can remove these comments. This is kind of like, I have all these comments here because this is when I was learning. I'm still learning the network, but I have a bunch of more comments before to remind me what I was doing, right? Now I know better. Well, a little better. A little bit better. Droppable. There is this thing that we need to deal with it for now. I think I explained this for you guys a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but this drop object, this prefab drop object, in this game, the way that I implemented, we could have a custom mesh for every drop, right? So if you're dropping a shotgun, it would show a shotgun. If you're dropping a knife, it would drop like a little knife. Right now we are just using the boxes, right? I kind of like that. And the problem with this is the reuse of the objects. I need to find a really good way if I want to do, you know, every object drops their own mesh. I can do that, but it would not be super efficient at this moment because we would be instantiating and destroying items, right? And that's not good, because right here, if we go to the droppable interface, see this guy right here? If we go to drop container and we click here, see the drop container? No, you don't see because my screen is on. But see, that's the drop container right here. Is that little box that we are using, right? So let me put that back. And all items at this point, they are using that same little box. But there is nothing that stops me of creating a little shotgun, putting in here, and then you would see a shotgun in the floor, right? But since this is not coming from a pool, we would have to be destroying and creating items, and that's not cool. So warning. Does it drop? Does it drop? Object is set in the item for the item blah blah blah. That makes more sense. And just in case we forget, sometimes I remember when I was working in the items, I would forget to set the prefab, and then nothing would spawn because we say, okay, if there's no prefab, just return it. And then I say, what? Why it's not dropping anything? Now we have a warning just in case, right? And since we are just, let me see here, instantiated. Yeah, so since we are not using this, we are just checking for that prefab, but we are not using that prefab. We are actually using a game object that's coming from a pool. In this pool, it's giving me the boxes, right? So this is way more efficient than if we were using this, right? So literally I could remove this code, but I'm just gonna leave it. So we grab the rotation, position, and then we grab the object. So this would be drop object prefab. I'm gonna start naming my things better here. And then, so see, this is how we were doing before, right? Let me copy this. So before, this drop object prefab would be instantiated using the prefab that we set in the custom editor. We are not doing that anymore. Now we are just using boxes for everything. The use interface. So we get the component from the prefab. If that's equal to null, we're gonna add that component to it. So we know for sure that after that line, we have the component in there no matter what, right? We try to get it. If we don't have, if that's equal to null, we say, okay, pickup drop is equal to add a component, and then we have that in that variable. That's how we are doing it. And we are setting message ID. And this is just to add force to it. Okay, so if we don't find the rigid body, we don't apply force. And then we call the pull here, pull is spawn, drop. And using the old way, we would call a network server is spawn. So it's a little different, right? Because this is being called, when we call pull is spawn, this is pretty much what the pull is doing. We remove those examples from there. Now we know better. And I know that this is the client. It looks like at this moment, we don't have nothing here for client code. So the server is just sending a message to everybody and say, hey, spawn this thing in there. The issue that we are having though, it's probably in here in this item pickup, right? Let me do this. Item pickup inherits from, well, UI item pickup inherits from item pickup. So go to definition and let me try. We should have an item here, right here. So this is the item. This item is being set by the server. Let me just remove this. Right? And wait a second. Network drop manager. So we set that to null, set that to null. So the database should be null. Item type. Item type is being set. Item pickup. So the item type is being synchronized. Drop ID is being synchronized. Let me rename this to item ID. Okay. Let's test this and see if the caching is still, if we're still having the same issue. Did I had sounds before? I don't remember having sounds before in my stream. That's so weird. Okay, I muted. Let's see if that fixes it. It's kind of like the Windows. Oh, maybe. Let me see here. Sounds, maybe? Maybe that got enabled somehow. Sounds. So this, no sounds. I don't know how that got enabled. Yep, I don't know how that got enabled. I know that I updated the computer. I ran a Windows update or something. I think remember that day that I had issues with my audio? That was the day. Everything got, messed up, and then I started the stream, everything was crazy. Then I say, what happens? So I think that day maybe Windows did something silly. I'm thinking... No, it should be working. Yeah, it should be working, because this is what I'm thinking. Maybe the client is not receiving this info here, but this is the server, right? So if we are changing these variables in the server side and we have the sync var on them here, they should be changed in the client. There's something weird going on in there. Okay, let's see. And where's my FPS bar? That's, oh, that's something weird with my UI. See that I have the bar right here? For some reason in the client is not showing. The other UI is working fine though. That one's messed up. Yeah, I don't know why. So we got water and we got wall window blueprint, right? I'm gonna keep the water though. Water and wall window. I think I want to change this animation. See that when I'm running, I put the weapon down? What do you guys think? I'm thinking, if I can, I was thinking to, instead of like, we are like this, and then when we start running, I am putting it down. I was thinking if I can do it, to put the weapon like right here. So when we are standing, we would be with the weapon like that. But when we start running, we will do this with the weapon, instead of doing down, going down, right? See, that's kind of like aiming down, and then now, so that's one thing I was thinking. Water, sniper blueprint, okay. Let's go back to this barrel. Cooked meat, doorway, okay. So that was the caching. The caching was holding the old item in there. Huh. That's very interesting. Oh, I know why. Door blueprint, water. Okay, let's grab one more here. And now it's piling it up because we increased the... This is super heavy. See? You cannot move, not even with the shotgun. See, you can shoot that and that doesn't move, so... Maybe I'm gonna have to take a look in that. Let's try the other barrel. And I need to fix the animations for all the weapons. I know that my shotgun is. So, spawn pad. Oh, nice. Raw meat. Okay, let's drink some water here. Okay. And let's eat some. Good. So let's go back to our code here. So now it is working, but you know why it's not working? See that right here? We are checking if item, it's not null. If the item is not null, right? But this item, this is not being synchronized by the network, right? So what happens is when we set, and neither is the database. The database is not synchronized by the network. So when we set this to null, this is only being set to null in the server side. This is one of the things that kind of like drives you insane when you start working in the working with networking code. This is just being set in the server. So the client is still have the item completely fine and still have the database. This is just being null in the server, because right here there is no, you know, we are not syncing, we are not doing network synchronization on it, and the same thing for the database. So here we probably would have a bug with the database as well. So for that not to happen, we comment that code, and then here we can remove those. Okay. And then every time, no matter if we have an item or not, we're gonna say this. We're gonna say return that, and remove all these gibberish here. Dang. So we return that for the item. So every time we ask for the database, we're gonna get it based on the type. And this would work because the type is being set by the server, right? The type is being set by the server, and these will get synchronized to the client. And then in the client, when we say, okay, give me the database, we would be using the item type to grab the correct database. Same thing for our item. See guys, see how it goes. Gonna keep that one. I can stay long, but just wanted to say, hey James, dude, thanks for stopping by, man. I hope you had a great weekend. Did you do something interesting this weekend? But yeah, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. So let's save that. Let me comment this out. Factory new item. I went to a party and got in trouble. Oh no. Oh no. Let's see if that works. I was resetting the item ID here, so we would never get the same unique ID in the inventory, because we cannot have two items with the same ID. Let me comment this out and see what happens. Oh no, dude. Double check. Okay, let's log in with our client here. Master, welcome to the stream. I'm doing good, man. Hope you're doing well. Welcome, dude. How did you do this weekend? Did you do something interesting or what? I'm learn to program. Mystic Cities, dude. Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome. Did you stream today, by the way, Mystic? Like, I was working in the computers. I would not be able to watch it anyway, but I remember you're saying that you're going to stream today. Did you stream it today, or you were not able to? And I got my friend's car. Came back. Why? Dude, why did the cops were looking for you, dude? What are you doing? Nothing much. On art tablet? I bet, man. It would be probably make your life way easier. Stream about around 9. Then you're going to stream home. Because it was a runaway? Oh, you're running from Barton? Dude. Troublemaker. Troublemaker. So, a small loot box and water. Okay. So far, so good. Water? Small loot. What? No way, Jose. No way, Jose. That code that I just commented out should not be causing this problem. Small loot box and water. We are not getting the ID issue, but we are getting the item to be cached. How? Water. Small loot box. What did I change? What I changed should not do that. Everything I did wrong in my life. Oh boy. The only thing I changed was literally this. This should not do anything. And okay, so let's go to the drop manager. Let's put those things back here. Okay. Save those. So we are nulling those in the server side. But it would not matter though. It would not matter because we don't have the caching anymore. Right? We don't have that null check anymore. Every time we would get the item based on the item ID. Every time we would get a new database based on the item type. That makes no sense at all. Doesn't sound very boring to me. Let's see, guys. I got chocolate waffle. I almost lost my voice in there, dude. You're gonna make me hungry. You're the worst one, man. You're gonna make me hungry now. I'm gonna have to go grab something sweet. Let's try again. Dude, we are closed. What? Are we closed off? What? What? What is closed? There's 2 things that are closed. What are you working now? Greenbone! Welcome to the stream, man. I am working today. The plan, the master plan for tonight is working on the barrels, kind of like cleaning up the code a little bit. And there is one small issue that's happening now that I'm trying to fix, but work on the barrels. And then we're gonna go back to the inventory. Yeah, for a change. We're going to go back to the inventory. My favorite place to go is to sleep. Well, these days, man, that's one thing that I really like to do. You know what I really